Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chrystle and I'm excited because today I'm going to be telling you 5 things that might shock you about traveling to South Africa. In this video, I'll be talking specifically about traveling to Johannesburg, South Africa, because if you did not know, my husband, myself, and our 2 children will be moving there later this year. So without further ado, let's jump into that video and make sure you hit that subscribe button, you guys. The very first thing that might shock you about traveling to Johannesburg, South Africa is how long it takes to get there. It's so funny because when I talk to people about coming to visit us, they're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take like 24 hours to fly there. No, you guys, it does not take that long to fly to Johannesburg. My husband and I live in Tampa, and we are actually able to get to Johannesburg in only 2 flights from a lot of major cities in the US like Miami, Atlanta, New York, Philadelphia. You can fly to Johannesburg in just 1 nonstop flight. And I'm gonna tell you how it goes. So myself and my husband will normally catch a flight from Tampa to Atlanta, and we'll have about a 2-hour layover there. And then after that, we will get on our flight from Atlanta straight to Johannesburg. Flights to Johannesburg normally take off in the evening. It is an overnight flight, and it lasts from Atlanta to Johannesburg for about 14 hours and 51 minutes, maybe up to like 15 hours and 15 minutes, just depending, I guess, on what other planes are in the sky at the time. We board our flight, we get settled in, that takes about an hour, and then they serve dinner. We eat our dinner, we relax, we maybe watch a movie after dinner, and then after that, because most of the flights take off in the evening between about 6 and 7:30 p.m., it's time to go to bed because it's about to be 10 o'clock. And when we wake up, we are given breakfast. And we have flown through the night. We eat our breakfast. That takes about an hour and a half. We might watch another movie or pull out a book to read or something like that. And then the pilot announces that we are in preparation for landing. And so within the next hour and a half to 2 hours, we go ahead and we land in Johannesburg. So I know it may sound like, oh my gosh, a 15-hour flight, like that's insane. I couldn't be on a plane that long. But because these flights are overnight, you're actually sleeping a lot of the time, maybe relaxing, watching a movie, something like that in between, and you're eating 2 meals. They also come around with beverage service and snacks and things like that. So the time goes by pretty quickly. One of the things that also might surprise you is, 1, these flights happen almost daily. Like every evening, they're flying out to Johannesburg. I've never gone to book a flight for us and there were no flights available that day or anything like that. And they're normally kind of full, maybe not to capacity, but it's definitely a pretty packed flight. So that's something else that definitely shocked me. I didn't realize so many people were traveling to Johannesburg from the US, which I think is actually super cool. The second thing that might shock you, it is not hot year round. People think, oh, you're going to Africa, it must be hot. Africa is a huge continent, so there are a lot of varying weather spectrums that you can encounter. Specifically in Johannesburg, the weather happens to be a lot like here in Tampa, Florida, which I love. It actually even gets hotter here in Tampa than it does in Johannesburg a lot of times. The high that you might get for Johannesburg is about 86 in the summer, but it does have cool mornings and cool nights a lot of times. And since you're in the other hemisphere, the seasons are actually switched around a bit. The winter for Johannesburg is actually June to August. So that is the summer here in the States, in Florida and Tampa, but that is the winter when you are in Johannesburg. So whenever you are traveling to South Africa, that is something to keep in mind, like knowing that the seasons are a little mixed around. So make sure you check the weather before you go, know what season you're traveling in. But like I said, the weather is typically very mild and amazing year round. One of the things that blew me away is they actually grow palm trees. And people in the States love like California and Florida because we are 2 states that grow palm trees. They are not throughout the States. And so the fact that palm trees actually grow naturally in Johannesburg speaks to the amazing weather that is there, as well as just the beauty, because palm trees make everything a little more beautiful. The best time to travel to Johannesburg, South Africa is actually October, in my opinion, and I'm gonna tell you why. So one, because the seasons are switched around, October is actually spring in Johannesburg. And that is one of the most beautiful seasons. I love spring and I love fall because generally the weather is very mild. You get to see the jacamore tree bloom. So a lot of you probably don't know what a jacamore tree is if you're not, or jacaranda, sorry. A jacaranda tree is if you're not from Johannesburg, South Africa. They are similar to the cherry blossom tree that we have that blooms in Washington, D.C. 1 month out of the entire year. The jacaranda tree also only blooms 1 month out of the year. Guess what month that is? October in Johannesburg. And it is just purple instead of white, but oh my gosh, it is beautiful. It lines the streets in many areas. Like it's definitely a sight to see. When we traveled there in October, we were able to experience the jacaranda's bloom as well as be able to just like kind of wear really light type of clothing. The weather was just perfect. It was like mid-October, mid to going into late October when we went in. The weather was phenomenal. The next thing that I would say is, you guys, if you had come from the States or even like London, your dollar, the US dollar, I'll talk US dollars. US dollar is 17 to 1 rand. You are going to be able to do and experience so many things, especially when it comes to food. I am a foodie. I love going out to eat. And so when I go out to eat, I'm getting appetizers, I'm getting drinks, I'm getting entrees, I'm getting desserts, getting more appetizers, I'm getting side dishes, I'm getting a lot of food. And we were able to go out and eat. And I want to say our most expensive meal may have been like $45. And that's with me ordering like all of this food at very nice restaurants. Like, you're going to be able to really go and truly experience the greatness that Johannesburg has to offer if you travel there and you're coming from, like I said, like the US or the UK or something like that. So right now the conversion is about 17 to 1. So that's going to be awesome. I even went and got my hair braided and that conversion worked out really nice as well. So one of the things that you always want to keep in mind when you're traveling to, whether it's Johannesburg or any other country, is knowing what the exchange rate is, because, woo, side note, when Ricky and I went to visit London, oh my gosh, like the dollar is less than, what do they have, the euro? And oh my gosh, we went and got on this tour bus. It took us like 5 minutes because we was having a whole situation going on. Whole situation. This is when we, like, our first year of marriage. It took us like 10 minutes on this tour bus to realize we had paid like $200 US to get on this tour bus. We were like, oh my gosh, that is so much money to go on a tour bus. So always know what the exchange rate is whenever you're traveling somewhere. And like I said, the exchange rate right now is about 17 to 1. The fifth thing that might surprise you, which I was surprised when I found this out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know why so many more people aren't going here to visit. If they knew this, they would probably be flocking by the droves, because it is the only place in the entire world that has this. And it is found in the city of Soweto. So when you go and visit the city of Soweto, you will be able to go onto this street that is the only street in the world that has 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners that came from it. And those 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners are Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela. And I just think that is so rich in history. So you literally can go to one house and then walk a couple steps and you will be down the street at the other house. There are a lot of amazing things about South Africa that you can go and visit, but it shocked me that this was something that happened. 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners coming from the same street. And it's not being shouted like from the mountaintops in every history book everywhere. Like, it's not even a thing that's really talked about. I definitely recommend that you all go and visit Johannesburg, South Africa. Like I said, my family, we will be moving there this year. So if you want to follow our journey transitioning, moving to Johannesburg, South Africa, as well as get some travel tips, I love helping people be able to travel to their dream destination in luxury, for the low because I love a good discount. I'm not a travel agent. My joy literally just comes from helping people be able to cross off places on their bucket list, go places, see the world through other people's eyes, experience things. I feel like when we travel the world and we meet other cultures and have other cultural experiences, it makes us love others better because we're more understanding of where they've come from. So let me know in the comments some places that you want to travel to. I have traveled to 24 countries. I have a video on the channel about that, just like my travel journey a little bit. So let me know what country you want to travel to. If you try to find a deal, I could tell you about how to find the deals for where you're trying to get to, let you know about how I find deals for where I want to travel to. And yeah, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing, okay? And I'm gonna put a link in our description box for our family channel as well. So until next time, you guys, peace.